Hi there, Dave Rawlings here. Today I want to talk about half shield. So what is half shield? And I have to thank Matt Gallis for this because he really brought my attention to the only other reference I've really heard of outside of 133. And it's simply a way of saying it's like a shield but about half the size. So you're looking at a buckler. And most commonly it is being shown, if you look in psalters, you can see this with cudgel, with axe, with obviously sword and buckler in 133. It's being shown as a cover, like so, for the weapon hand. Now, this simply means that you have, within 133, in my opinion, the author saying, we are now going to show you how to fence in the manner appropriate to the half shield. So this is really the guard that is appropriate to the use of the buckler. And I think if we take that approach, it gives us a really good indicator of certain things we can be aware of and certain justifications that we can make within 133. So one of the most common things that people are bringing up as a reference point is completely valid, and in fact when I show people how to do fifth ward, for example, I quite often put my left foot forwards. Now this is then leading people to say, well, okay, you've got your left foot forward, so this disproves your idea that 133 is a right foot forward system. And in fact, no, it doesn't, because if we're talking about the idea of effectively a proving manual, a manual which gives you a principle like destreza, where we go, the truth is that the right angle is the best and most competent way to get to your opponent safely. Now I will show you all the examples and prove this angle against all these different positions that you may adopt. And I believe that fundamentally 133 does this, that you have any of the things that somebody can do, and they can have their right leg forwards, their left leg forwards, it doesn't matter. Any of the things that anybody else can do. Now I will show you how fundamentally half shield is the priority, the manner to get towards those people, that the guard appropriate to the buckler is the way to go and fence them if you're using a buckler yourself. That means it doesn't matter which foot your partner has got forwards, nor where their arm is. It gives you a fundamental principle of how to approach them, okay? So again, this simply means it doesn't matter which foot forward, doesn't matter which arm forward they have, it means that your priority is to adopt them in what is regarded as the perfect position. In destreza, the right angle, in 133, using the guard appropriate to the buckler, here we're going forward in half shield. Now, again, the point I'd make out in this case is you go, well, you don't only get shown half shield. And no, of course you don't. And this is true within manuals such as Tebow. You see this in Hope. You see it in lots of different systems where they say the right angle is perfect. But it's not always the perfect thing to do. Sometimes you need to use an obtuse, an acute, an oblique angle. Sometimes you need to drop your hand to a vulgar position. And different authors will give you circumstances where that becomes the right thing to do. So by no means does that discredit the principle that half shield is being regarded as the fundamental way forwards against lots of different geometric positions. Okay. Now this leads me to a term that I used in a very, very throwaway aspect, which is the idea of proving manuals. Okay. Now I generally say that there's two fundamental kinds of manuals, and it occurred to me recently that possibly one of these is effectively saying we have a counter posture, this is how the counter posture is used. But basically I tend to use the two terms, which is encyclopedic and proving. And by encyclopedic I mean a manual that gives you lots of possible interactive positions between a blade. So you do this, their blade interacts with yours like that, this is a thing that you can do from that position. You do this, there's so on, so on, so on. Or a proving manual. And what I mean by a proving manual is something like Cavendish, something like destreza, something like 133, where you take a principle and an argument and you go, this works against all of these things. And because it works against all of these things, I will show you all of these things and how this principle approaches and conquers those things. Okay? So we have two principles there I want you to think of. The difference in types of manuals, and even saying that, I hate that because I think we sometimes overclassify things. You know how I feel about swords being overclassified, for example. But it's a good way of understanding how 133 might be approaching. I think it's got a very, very destreza, Cavendish-like approach. Here is the shape which is appropriate, the counter posture which is appropriate to go forward against all positions. Okay? I hope that's been helpful. Take care. I'll see you soon.